Welcome to Silent Seniors No More. Before we start, a quick note. I am not an attorney and I'm not giving legal advice. This podcast simply shares real experiences, public documents, and the Florida statutes that affect residents living in the mobile home parks. The goal of Silent Seniors No More is to help people understand what is happening in their communities and encourage them to ask informed questions. For legal advice, always speak with a qualified attorney. What if the place you go to feel safe wasn't safe at all? What if every conversation, every laugh, every complaint wasn't just heard by your friends, but recorded? What if no one told you? Welcome to Silent Seniors No More. I'm Jamie Chiarla, and today's episode is one that should make every resident stop and ask one simple question: who's listening? Recently, residents in our community have been told something deeply concerning. Staff members have stated openly that the security cameras inside the clubhouse have audio, not just video, audio. That means conversations, yes, private conversations may be recorded. Conversations between friends, conversations about management, conversations about complaints. Now, here's where it gets even troubling. There are no signs posted informing residents that audio recording may be taking place. No warnings, no disclosures, no consent. Let's be very clear about something. In the state of Florida, recording someone's private conversation without their consent can be illegal. Florida is what's called a two-party consent state. That means both people must agree to being recorded, not assumed, not implied, not hidden behind a camera in the corner of the room. If audio is being recorded without consent, that's not just a policy issue. That could be a violation of the law. Security cameras are meant to protect the people, to prevent theft, to monitor entrances, to keep residents safe. But there is a line, and that line is crossed when security turns into surveillance. When residents begin to feel like they're being watched, listened to, and possibly targeted. Because let's ask the real question: if audio is being recorded, who is listening? And more importantly, how is that information being used? Now, let's move from theory to what actually happened. Because this is just not about the cameras, it's about behavior. On January 10th, a flyer was posted on the kitchen door. The next thing that happened raises serious questions. The flyer was removed. Then, almost immediately, it was replaced. Not hours later, not the next day, within minutes. Which leads to the very question: how did staff know it was taken down so quickly? Were they watching? And if they were watching, were they also listening? Fast forward to February 20th. Jamie was using the kitchen, a space she had used before, a space covered under the community amenities. Yet shortly after, she was confronted. Not through a notice, not through the formal process, but directly. Again, raising the same question: was her presence being monitored in real time? And then, the moment that changes everything. Whenever Mr. Vieto wanted to speak with Jamie, he didn't want to talk inside, not in the clubhouse, not near the cameras. He would ask her to step outside, away from the cameras. Think about that. If the cameras are only for security, why avoid them? If nothing was being recorded, why not speak freely inside? That behavior tells a story. When you put all this together, the timing, the monitoring, the avoidance of certain areas, it stops looking like a coincidence, starts looking like a pattern. You can tell people they're not being watched, but behavior always tells the truth. When people believe they're being watched or recorded, they stop talking, they stop questioning, they stop standing up. And that right there is how communities become silent. Not because residents don't care, but because they're afraid. Afraid that what they say could be used against them. Afraid that speaking up could lead to coincidences. Sound familiar? If cameras are in use, residents should be clearly informed. There should be visible signage, written policies, transparency. And if audio is involved, consent must be obtained, not assumed, not whispered about, not revealed occasionally by staff or coincidentally, because privacy is not a privilege, it's a right. So today I leave you with this. If you're sitting in your clubhouse, having a conversation with a neighbor, laughing, venting, sharing concerns, ask yourself, is this private or is someone else listening? And if they are, did you give them permission? This is Jamie Chiarla, and this is Silent Seniors No More, because no one should have to live feeling like they are being watched.